Hey, this is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. Today is Monday, October the 8th. Just so happens it's Columbus Day as well, and it looks like most of the large traders probably took off today. There just wasn't much volume. You can see there wasn't much movement. There wasn't any news today. Nothing to drive the market, and we spent the entire day in about I'd say really from 48 to maybe 51, 50, 52. So 5 to 7 points. We spent the majority of the day probably in about a 5 point range, 4 to 5 point range. Actually, if you look from low to high, 47.50 to 53.50. So yeah, we spent the majority of the day in a 3 to 5 point range, I would say. Just not much happening. Um, You don't get a lot of trades on days like this, but I actually enjoy these kind of days because they're so predictable. Um, and one thing you can just about bank on range days is you can fade every new high and every new low. And let me show you this. We kind of had a double bottom here. We had a high here. Here's your first new high of the day. Um, that was an easy trade, and look at that. And if you caught this, it was worth 3 to 5 points, depending on how you exited and traded it and whatever. And you should have exited right down there at these lows. And then now we got a new low right here, and you should have entered right here. And again, you enter at around 48, and you ride this all the way up to the next high, which is 52, 53. So there's your 4 or 5 points on just two trades twice. So there's your 8 to 10 points right there just on those two trades. And then guess what? When you get up here and you make another new high, another easy trade, and you could have ridden this one down. It's really late here. But if you saw it, actually this entry probably set up before 4:30, or I'm sorry, 2:30, and you could have got you another couple more points right there. So just taking that rule only of fading the new highs and new lows. But really what you should have been thinking was every time you got to these highs you sell, and every time you got to these lows, you got a nice double bottom. This was a great trap. Anytime you get that many overlapping bars, um, as soon as what I did was I just basically put a limit order here. As soon as it ticked down, actually I bought this one right here too. Same thing. You had this double bottom right across here. So I placed a limit order right there and bought that one and scalped out real quick on that trade. And then it came back down, made another little double bottom here. But you see those closes across there. I just dropped another limit order and again did the same thing. This time my break-even stops never got hit, so that was an easy 2 or 3 point right there. Um, and you had a nice short right here. Um, Depending on how you traded this one, you might have scalped out on this bar right here and got your, three, 2 or 3, 4 ticks out of this, depending on how it worked out. Um, and you could have, and there was actually a second entry short here, but I didn't like it. Too many overlapping bars there. It was better just to wait and buy down here. And again, um, you could have bought this blindly, but it's best to wait on your bar, and there it is. You buy right there. Nice, easy, quick move. Then you got your short up here again. Now you got your first new high of the day. You've been in a trading range since 3 a.m., before 3 a.m. really. I'm not sure what time these bars formed. You can't really tell by looking at that. Uh, we've been in this range since 2:30 or so during the overnight, early morning hours. Um, there's no doubt that's a trading range. If you can't see that, you need to study your charts a little more. So this is your first new, this is, again, on range days, until the market starts trending, just fade every new high and every new low, and they're good for at least a scalp, and usually they're good for a lot more. And you can see you would have got short at the very high, and you could have exited at the very low again. Very easy trading. Took it a little bit to start working its way down, but that's the way it does on range days. And then guess what? You get all these overlapping bars down here. Another place to drop a great limit order right there, but you could have got in just about as good by waiting on this bar to form. And there's your little doji right at the very bottom. You get long right there. and you ride that all the way up, and guess what? Now you got another new high. Fade that, and that was it. I mean, there's not much more to a day like this than this, and a lot of inexperienced traders do not like these kind of days, and they get chopped to pieces because they're constantly getting long at the highs and then having to sell, and then just by the time it gets down here, they think it's going down, they sell again, and then they got to buy it right back, and they just you can't buy the highs and sell the lows, and that's a perfect example. Look what happens if you do just the opposite. If you sell the highs up here and you buy the lows down here, it's really pretty simple. And it takes some stones to buy down here at these lows and sell at these highs. But that's what you have to learn to do and condition yourself to do, because that's how you're going to make money. Obviously, if you're selling down here, you got whipsawed, and if you're buying up here, you got whipsawed. So if you're not already on if you're not profitable yet, you need to be on the simulator. Get on the simulator and force yourself to take these trades and see what happens. And I love these kind of days. Of course, I'd rather catch a trend like that right there. But these kind of days are really easy to make some quick, easy money. And you only need a couple of these. If you catch it at the low or the high, and you just hang on and you get ready to exit on the other side, and it's generally fairly easy trading. And that's, if you take this off, you still should be able to see that that's a range day. But it might be a little more difficult to know when and where to go. But if you put this on there and you find where you get the most touches, preferably the most closes, which is right there, you really get the most touches. There you go, right across there. And do the same thing on the high. Find where you get the most touches. And usually I'm starting out on the closes, so I would have started with this right here. And this would have been a little failed break lower, and then I moved it down to right here, and you can see that was a spot to be the rest of the day. And then I started right there, and that was probably close enough to the spot to be all day. Really, it looks better to me. You get a touch on every one of the moves right across there, but I would have started right there because there's your closes right across there. And so this was your first break above, and then we got right here and you had your next break above. And so that's pretty much it. And again, I look for, the closes tend to be the ones you pay more attention to, but generally where you see the most closes, and you can notice right here, this was the support from Friday, and then now it's acting as resistance, and does a pretty good job straight across there. And then now this is support all day long. And like I said, fairly easy type trading day if you know how to trade it. And it's really simple, and all you do is you sell the highs and buy the lows, and you wait for a setup in most cases. But even if you'd have sold these blindly, you should have had this moved up by now to your closes. So even if you sold that blindly right there with a 2-point stop, assuming you sold at 52, you still wouldn't have got stopped out because your 2-point stop is 54. So, even if you're buying these blindly, you couldn't go wrong today. And none of them would have got stopped out. All right, let's say you sold this one blindly right here. Your entry would have been 51.50. So 53.50, your stop would have been way up here. Didn't even get close to challenging that stop. So, but anyway, it's better just to wait till you get a bar in your direction and enter, or either that or a little bitty doji that's real close to the bottom, like this right here, where you can get in real close above that bar. So you wait on one of those type bars, and generally it's going to work out to your favor. So I'm going to wrap it up. Just a quiet day. I don't know how many of you traded today, but it was a full trading day. But my guess is most of the commercial types, the ones that actually move the market, took the day off. And it's fairly obvious by the lack of any real movement or any large buying or selling. So it'll probably pick back up tomorrow. But I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do this again tomorrow. But this is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.